And there's every chance that this won't record the whole lot because the iPad's a bit full. Who cares? Makes it exciting. Met a man on a train one day. He had no face at all. He put a shotgun to his chin when his back was against the wall. He'd been a big small-time businessman, but he must have aimed too high. He shot at both his cheeks, his teeth, his tongue, and his left eye. Christ knows what pain he had to bear, the indignity of it all. The months of careful surgery, the tube in his stomach wall. He put a shotgun to his chin, pulled the trigger, and didn't die. He met me on a train one day and we sang as the world went by. Tell a lie, he didn't sing. He just lent me an ear, and the eye on the right side of his head sparkled and shed a tear. We spoke with love about our kids, the love that comes too late. He said, I'll translate. And he had to write nearly everything he had to write in a little book. He carried at all times. What he wrote. My son Ross plays in a band. I gave him a guitar when he was 5. And I thought about my own 4 sons and suddenly nearly cried. I thought of all the guitars I've given them and the love we always hide. The good and bad and mad ideas and all the foolish pride. He lives in error, in the winter time he's warm. He's got no illusions, he cops it sweet, humble pie in liquid form. His name is Jim, but what's in a name? We've each got one and we're all the same. It's hard to believe this story's true, but was it about Jim, or me, or you? Me or you? It took me 2 years to put pen to paper. But when I did, it only took 20 minutes to write that. And then I sang it into a cassette. I just tracked down Jim, so I sent it to him. What the heck? He didn't muck around. He wrote back straight away. In a strong, manly hand, his 3 pages began. Thanks, J.A. He wrote. It's top of the charts. For me, my wife and friends. And then, keep up the good music, John. We can't live without it. That's how the letter ends. Well, it's taken me 15 more years. That's a fair slice of me. But now the time's come to get off my bum and introduce Jim's wife, Dorothy. She was a gracious old lady, as simple as sunshine and rain. She painted oils of the bush, ran the theatrical push. Not one to complain. I don't have that much info. But then, less is more. A few snippets from Ross, some vague local goss. What I heard and saw before Dorothy changed her surname to that of her young husband, Jim. She'd had a life of her own. She'd been happy alone without him. She sang for the boys in the Air Force, Army and Navy, show after show and lots of live radio. Jack Dave, stuff like this. Da, 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 back in the day, da, 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 where every radio station had an orchestra. Da, 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 da. What dreams, what hopes, as their lives together began. She was fair, she was small, he was dark, he was tall, yeah. Jim was a real ladies' man, and always a ladies' man. Propped up by the girl at his side. As they walked down the aisle, you could see the odd smile at the bride, but she made a vow. Standing there by her man, she looked just like her mother. One war ended, another began. Was it all fair? Who won? It can't have been all blood and gore. They had a girl and a boy, then Jim laid siege to Troy. Ah, what a metaphor is for. Another story, straight from Jim's mouth. On the day of our very first meeting, I looked him in the eye. I made a face that asked, why? He replied, Mr. Keating. He had to write down. You had to forgive him his diction, but the real juggling act is to separate fact from fiction. He explained. Interest rates. As if that explained everything, but I'd like to bet it was the size of his debt that brought down the bulk liquor king. You see, he'd financed a house for each kid. He had a lifestyle just like good old Toad, but you can't drive a Mercedes with one eye on the ladies. Miss every bump in the road. By the time I met them in Nara, Jim had fired his last angry shot. The bank had taken their home, foreclosed on the loan. They lost a lot. It was back to a small rented house. The door always for me open wide. Then one day when I phoned, Dorothy was alone. Jim had recently peacefully died. I went round straight away. She was spent, but her voice spoke of job satisfaction. Puzzlement too at the trial she'd gone through with her man of action. I did it, she said, with a sigh. I don't know how. All those nights I despaired when he didn't care, but I made a vow, for better or worse. Through all the big spending, then she went off her meds. In a week she was dead. How's that for a happy ending? Now is the hour when we must say goodbye. Soon you'll be sailing far across the sea. While you're away, oh, please remember me. When you return, you'll